so feel free to wave, say hello. Don't be shy. Just don't say anything important until we go live.
We are live.
Oh. All right. If we are live, then here we go. This is the final tribal council of Premiere Season 3, our Stranger Things themed season, Hawkins. We are here with our final three, AJ, Molly, and Olivia. All three have fought very hard to get here, and tonight they will argue their cases in front of the jury. While I have all of you here, I want to say thank you for being a part of this season. I think this was probably the best season we've had. We are so pleased with every single person here, the game that you have played, your dedication, your contribution. We're really excited for tonight, and yeah, getting ready to kick things off is Olivia. However, I do believe we're going to ask that jurors, when you are not speaking, when it is not your turn, if you could keep your camera turned off. I think that'll make the live a little bit easier to view on Facebook. Is that correct, Matt?
Yes, please.
Yeah, so thank you very much for that. And Olivia, whenever you are ready, you will be giving the first speech.
Okay, I think I'm ready. I'm as ready as I'll ever be. I'm here tonight with Pip. He's looking his best and he wanted to say hi to everybody. Now I'll start my speech. So hi everyone, this has been a really long season and it's crazy to think that after tonight, everything's over. I loved having all the extra time to get to know you all, and I'm feeling really honored to be sitting in the final three next to two amazing competitors. Now I wanted to go into discussing my gameplay. So pre-merge, in every game I'm in, I always focus on both proving myself as a valuable asset in tribe immunity challenges and forming the social connections necessary to stay safe. I believe that in this game, I accomplished both of those goals. I started off the game by forming a close alliance with Bill on day one. We updated each other on everything we were hearing and agreed to go far into the game together. My name was thrown out a few times, a few rounds in by Topher, and he tried to rally the votes to get me out, but I had a lot of good relationships on my tribe, and just about everyone came to me, told me exactly what was going on, and almost none of them were willing to write my name down, so I flipped the vote onto Topher instead. My name was thrown out several rounds later by Dylan and Mariah, and yet again, they did not have the votes to get me out due to my close connections with Tyler and Bill. So now on to the post-merge phase of the game. So I had quite a few extremely close allies, Bill, Tyler, AJ, Triton, that constantly gave me information and kept me in the loop on their advantages, allowing me to prepare accordingly and know exactly what was going to happen at every tribal. Not only did I form close relationships with my allies, but I also made sure that they benefited me for strategic purposes. Tyler was a big shield for me. He naturally had more of a target than me throughout the whole game, due to the fact that he was more willing to put himself out there as I gathered information behind the scenes. Starting off the safety chain advantage by picking Triton changed the course of the game by drawing the line between the two sides and solidifying our alliance with Triton and AJ. It was risky, as many people didn't know that I was closely aligned with Triton at that point, and I was nervous to expose that connection, but I knew that it was a risk I had to take. I planned the order carefully to ensure that someone from the other side would go home. Picking Triton first left my two closest allies at that time, Bill and Tyler, vulnerable, but I made sure that Triton picked one of them who then picked the other. I made sure that AJ, someone who I really wanted to work with, was picked right after, which solidified him joining our side. Another important part of the merge for me was ensuring that whenever a move was made against my side and my alliance, it wasn't me that was the one being targeted. This was mainly due to two factors: Bill's idol and my relationship with Cam. Several people on the other side knew or suspected that Bill had an idol, and due to our close relationship, they always worried that he might play the idol on me. This helped me to continue moving forward easily when other members of my alliance were targeted. Cam was an extremely unpredictable player throughout the merge, but Bill and I had an alliance with him, and I knew that he would try and protect me for as long as he could. When people like Todd, Derek, Molly, and Dylan needed his vote, he was not willing to vote for me, and therefore they did not have the numbers to get me out. The hardest moment of the game for me by far was voting off Bill at Final Four. We made almost every game decision together. We were almost like entirely on the same wavelength for every vote, every decision, but he was perceived by the fellow players as a more strategic and dominant player. I had been wary of his threat level ever since Touchy Subjects, when he received quite a few positive answers and I got none. And I knew that I needed to make a move against him at one point if I wanted to win. But this move needed to be planned very carefully and made at the right time. Final 7 was too early. He was a good shield for me. He would always be voted before me since he was a bigger threat and people didn't want to sit with him at Final Tribal. And I needed numbers on my side since Cam was unpredictable and I knew that Bill would always vote with me. I knew that he had an idol that expired at Final 6, and I convinced him on a call one day after hearing some interesting observations from some of my allies to tell me about his second idol that they suspected he had that expired at Final 5. So the only option left was Final 4. I knew that no matter who won Final Immunity, I would be fine and that he needed to go. Sometimes your heart tells you to do one thing in a game and your head tells you to do another. I usually follow my heart, but that doesn't always go well for me in these games, and it usually makes me lose at the end. So I decided to go with my head this time, making the sensible, logical decision that I believed would be best for my game and for my chances of winning. This will be my last org for a while. I'm choosing to focus more on real life hobbies and other obligations. I had a really great time and I'm happy to have met everyone, some of who I never thought I would work with in a game. Some of you may or may not know that I've struggled a lot with self-confidence issues, and these can be exacerbated by playing orgs and making bad decisions in orgs, doing bad in challenges, making dumb moves, etc. And when I first heard about this season, I was in the middle of a really tough moment in another game where I made a dumb move and I convinced myself that I was a bad player. When Matt asked me to apply for this season, I said, absolutely not. I was never playing another org again. But a few weeks later, I thought about how much I loved the theme, how much I wanted a chance to torture Gabe and Matt, and I thought I would give it a try. And here I am sitting in the final 3 where I never expected to be. Regardless of the outcome of the season, whether I win or get 0 votes, I'm truly proud of my gameplay and I'm glad that I played this season. And good luck to my other 2 finalists. I think we all played great games and I respect whatever decision the jury makes. Thank you.
Should I go?
Yeah, Molly, you're up.
Okay, cool. Good evening, everyone. I just want to start by thanking the great hosting team for putting on such a wild ride for us. It has been a crazy 50 days. Wow, 50 days, that is a long time. But it has been so much fun. I also want to congratulate Olivia and AJ. I'm so happy to be sitting here with both of you, and I'm so proud of us all for making it here. When I saw the apps for this game drop, I immediately knew that I had to apply. Stranger Things is definitely one of my favorite shows, and I am so glad that someone finally put on a theme of Stranger Things for an org. As soon as the game began and I saw the cast, I was definitely intimidated as well as excited. I worked hard and fast to make connections on my starting tribe, as I had really only known Moose and Cameron very well prior to this game. I had a core alliance quickly formed between Brandon, Moose, Cameron, and myself. However, I was also extensively speaking with Steven and Roger. I gave it my all in our pre-swap and pre-merge challenges, getting the most points in both the scavenger hunt as well as Stranger Things trivia. I didn't go to a ton of pre-merge tribals, but when I went to them, I knew where the votes were going at everyone that I went to. Only voting in the minority once because of a random vote disadvantage that I'm sure everyone knows about by now. The Moose vote was definitely a turning point for my game. Me, AJ, and Triton were a tight alliance on our small tribe of 5, and we were going to vote Steve in that round. But then when Steven stole Triton's vote, we knew that we had to vote with Steven to keep ourselves safe, and we took out Moose. The first few merge votes were pretty crazy, as the first 3 votes were very atypical. The first one being the lowest amount of non-zero votes going home. The safety chain was the next one. And then Tyler's HOH Big Brother advantage was after that. The round that Dylan went home was the only time in this game that a vote truly surprised me. Going to Rocks was one of the biggest risks that I took in this game, but I knew that I needed to prove my trust to the side of Tad, Derek, and Cameron. I was pretty sure that the other side was voting for Tad, and I knew that we were voting for AJ. I went to Rocks for Tad to show the loyalty to that side so that they would keep telling me information. It was a big risk and very sneaky, but it paid off because the next round I was ready to make my move. I knew Cameron would come for me sooner rather than later, and I knew that I had to take him up before he got me. So I planted seeds shortly after Rocks that Cam should be the next to go. After Tad won immunity, I pushed even harder for Cameron to go, while still knowing exactly where Cameron, Tad, and Derek were voting. I had full power. I was the decision maker that night. The goal the next day was for anyone but Tad to win immunity, which he did not. And I knew that this would be the hardest vote in the game that I was going to have to do. But I was proving touchy subjects wrong, and I was playing strategically, not emotionally. I once again knew that Tad and Derek were voting for Bill, but I also knew at that point that Bill had an idol and that their votes wouldn't matter. So once again, I voted out the biggest threat to my game, being Tad. I won the final 5 individual immunity, and I was ready to push for Bill to go. However, AJ and Olivia weren't ready for that yet, but I was not afraid to vote for the biggest threat to my game and even though I knew the numbers were still going to be on Derek, I wanted to take another risk. At Final 4, I was pretty sure that if Bill didn't win the challenge, he was probably going home. And after the challenge ended, I messaged Bill right away and said that I was voting for him and that I knew he was voting me as well, which he did. I knew AJ was voting with me, and we made a strong case to Olivia for why Bill should go, and it worked. I received 1 vote the entire game, and it didn't happen until Final 4. I once again proved how strong my social game is, as I had multiple people telling me that they wouldn't write my name down, and this was proven to be true. I felt nervous twice in this game, once during the safety chain, for obvious reasons, and at Final 4, because I thought there was a small chance that I would go to fire against Bill. Every other time, I knew who was receiving the votes, who was going home. I played for myself. I didn't play for anyone else. I did what was best for my game at any given moment, and I always knew where the votes were going. I played the middle expertly, all while making sure I was never a target by building strong social bonds with everybody. I was constantly receiving information from everyone in this game. I made big moves. I took risks. I won an immunity challenge, and I had a lot of fun. I can't wait to answer all of your questions so that you can give this season the bejeweled winner it deserves. And I hope you can see that it was me. Thank you.
All right, and lastly, AJ.
All right, I first want to thank the hosting team. As soon as I saw apps come out, I immediately wanted to apply. I wanted to play you guys' game for a while, and once I saw Stranger Things, I went crazy because I love the TV show. And out to the jury, I hope that you listen to me and you really pay attention to the game that I play and me explaining the moves I make, because they vary vastly from my other competitors. Pretty much how I came into this game, I was very intimidated. I always underestimate myself and don't believe in myself in games. I saw the cast and I was like, oh, I'm gonna be a pre-merge boot. Like, I did not think that I would be here. So coming into this, I came into it with the mindset that I would do anything and everything to get here, and I proved myself right. The first half of the game, I was on a tribe with Tad, Tyler, Derek, and we had it easy going. But soon I learned that things would shake up for me when we got on a tribe, and it was me, Steven, Molly, and Trident and Moose. Pretty much what Trident and Molly didn't know is that I was working with Steven, and I got Steven to steal Triton's vote so that I could get Molly to vote out Moose so that I could keep both of my allies safe in the game and we could go into merge. Pretty much at merge, I did not go in with the numbers. I literally played from the bottom the entire time this game. I was voted 14 times in this game, and I'm here today, and I fought my way tooth and nail. I had Triton and Steven in this game, and I had others at the beginning, but I had to gain every ally I had here, whether it be making moves, whether getting Triton to play the safety chain, and me solidifying my relationship with Bill and Olivia by picking Cam. From that, building that relationship to Cam so that Cam wouldn't vote me out and so that Dylan would go home over me. I stayed many times by 1 vote, and that 1 vote means so much to me. Everyone here on the jury, I played a part in my game, and I respect all of you guys because any of you guys could be here. I hope that you listen to what I have to say, and I hope that you really just ask me anything that you want to know. And I'm scatterbrained. I just walked in the door from work, so I did not have time to prepare. So just give me a little bit of a break. All right. Thanks, guys.
All right. And
All right, thank you to all three of you. Excellent job. And our first juror has already come on. So Dylan, the floor is yours.
Okay, so coming into this, I was gonna be a bitter bitch, but I'm over it. I'm good to go. Basically, I'm gonna have all three of you guys close your eyes. And we're gonna use the honor system. I don't think you guys are cheating. So I'm gonna name a juror off of my list, and you're gonna raise your hand if you think they're gonna vote for you. Okay, so Steven, raise your hand if you think. Okay. Mandy, raise your hand. Okay. Tyler. Okay. Me. Okay. Raise your hand if you think you have Triton's vote. Okay. Cameron. What about Tad? Okay. Derek. And Bill. Okay. That's it. I'm super proud of all three of you guys. I hope we can be friends outside of this. Love you all, and congrats.
Thank you, Dylan. All right, and I believe our next juror coming on is Triton. Whenever you're ready.
Hello, guys. First of all, I want to say a big congrats to all three of you. All three of you have been like an amazing support system to me in this game in some way or another. And I think all three of you would make a great winner for this season. And I'm just so proud of all three of you. My question is going to test your Stranger Things knowledge a little bit and give you a chance to explain your game in a fun way. I'm going to ask, which Stranger Things character do you think would play a similar game to you? And please explain why. I'll give you like a minute to think about it, and then whoever wants to go first can go ahead and answer.
I can go. I think that Robin might be kind of similar to my game. Robin is a very quirky character, and I think I'm kind of a quirky person, so the personality kind of lines up. But I also know that Robin is very loyal to the people she cares about, but she also can be a bit impulsive and a little bit sneaky sometimes. So I definitely think that I'm generally loyal, but I can be very sneaky when I have to be, and I think I was sneaky in this game because I had to be. So I would say Robin.
Thank you, Molly. Whoever wants to go next.
Do you want to go or do you want me to go?
Doesn't matter. Either or.
Okay, I can go. I would say 11. She's also one of my favorite characters, but I would say her because in the beginning you just think she's kind of quiet, like just like how in this game I feel like I did a lot of stuff behind the scenes. Like I wasn't a super like upfront player in this game, especially in the beginning. But then what people don't realize about her before they meet her is her crazy powers. And I feel like my powers sort of activated at the end. I was sort of doing things behind the scenes at first, and then when I felt like I needed to make my move, I activated my powers and surprised people.
Thank you, Olivia. AJ, your turn.
I would have to go probably with Max, just because I feel like Max has a hard outer shell, and it's hard for people to get to know Max, and it takes a lot for Max to kind of really show you where she's coming from and to stick up for people. But when she does stick up for herself and stick up for what she believes in, she'll fight and she'll do whatever she can to protect herself and the people that she cares about.
All right, thank you, AJ. Again, all three of you, I think, would make an amazing winner. Whatever happens tonight, you guys all killed it. Congrats, guys. I'm excited to vote for one of you guys. See ya.
Thank you, Triton. All right, next in line, it looks like we have Tad. Come on in.
Hello. I don't have questions really. I'm just going to listen to you. Actually, I do have a couple questions, but mostly I'm just going to be listening throughout Tribal Council. But my question for Olivia is, Olivia, you seem to hate a lot of people in this community. Did I earn that to be hated by you in this community?
I would say you're not like on a Matt level of hatred. Nowhere near Matt, Michael Schaefer, James Hansen, John Farrell. If any of those people are watching, like, you already know it, so it's no surprise to them. But I would say that you were so threatening and like so good at challenges that it definitely aggravated my hate.
All right, cool. AJ, I adore you, man. Ever since hosting you, I'm so bummed that we didn't get to really play this game because we had such easy vote outs. And so we didn't really get to do that whole let's like plan things and everything because, I mean, Tina, come on, easy versus boot. But and then Roger didn't talk to us. Or I don't even know if you're on the were you on the tribe with us?
Yeah.
With Roger? Yeah. Roger didn't talk to us. So we never really get to that game level of talk. And I'm really bummed that happened. And I knew once we got to merge that we were probably screwed and going to be on opposite sides for that. I have nothing against you. I just need to hear tonight more about your game because I don't know what kind of you did. Because,
Okay.
I mean, in our first two tribes, we didn't have to do anything.
Right.
We won most of the time and voted out very easy people to vote out. So I just need to hear more of what you did on that third tribe, as well as what you did merge besides just avoiding the vote.
Okay.
Molly, you fucking wrote my name down for the second time. And that hurts because we've been through so many games together. But I'm also very proud of you for taking those moves because you do play emotionally. I did vote for you to be the emotional player because that's what you do. But lately I've seen you be more strategic. So you took my trust and used it against me. And I respect the hell out of that for you. It's very villainous. I'm not a very big fan of the villainous move, but I respect the hell out of it for you. Just own your game. You guys all played a great game. I enjoyed talking to you, even if we never got to talk game talk. It was fun to play with you guys. First time playing with AJ after hosting him. It was so much fun to actually get to play with you, AJ, even though we didn't get to really do the game stuff. Olivia, I've heard a lot about you. I'm glad that I have not made to the Schaefer level of hatred because I don't want to be hated by many people. So thank you for that. And Molly, I adore you. I love you. I'm excited to see who's going to win this game. You all three kicked ass this game.
All right. Let's see. So next up, we have Steven. Steven, you ready?
Hey, congratulations to all three of you. My question is for Molly and AJ. The round I left, both of you ignored me, but Olivia did not. So why should I not ignore you now?
I honestly didn't ignore you. I talked to you about it and talked to you up until you left our chat. I tried to explain what happened. And actually on the revote, at first we all discussed it, our target. And then you said, everyone throw a random name. Then on the revote, I wasn't at tribal council because I was at work. I said, on the revote, I did vote you. Otherwise, I didn't because we were voting a random name. And then you got upset because it was a miscommunication. And for that, I apologize sincerely because to me, you are a friend. And whether I get your vote or not, I would still consider you a friend. And it's just something I would like to apologize for.
Thank you.
I don't think we spoke too much before the vote. I was pretty busy. I was at dinner with my family. But you didn't reach out to me before really that vote much. I reached out and I said, I don't know what's happening, like before the first vote. And then, yes, I did ignore you the second time during the revote. I'll own up to that. I'm sorry for that. But I should have been honest with you and I should have said that, no, I am voting for you to go home. I voted for Derek that round, but I knew that you were getting 2 votes. So I voted for Derek because I knew Derek was getting more votes. And yeah, that was not cool of me to ignore you, but you didn't extensively speak to me too much before that. So it's a two-way street. I apologize for ignoring you, but yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen. All right, I believe that next we have Mandy coming up. Everyone say hello to Mandy.
Hello, everyone. So this is probably the most bitter I've ever been as a juror, but not just at the 3 of you, it's at all you motherfuckers on the jury for not picking me in the damn safety chain. That safety chain, I have never been more confused in my life because I pride myself on a social game, and especially the 3 of you sitting here, I've had connections with all of you before this game. So the fact that Molly is an exception because it was between me and Molly at the end, but like, you know, AJ, I was most shocked that you didn't pick me because, you know, whatever, but like I've heard kind of how that went down and I know things weren't black and white. So yes, Tad, I know I said I was playing both sides, but I'm still saying I'm mad because no one picked me in the safety chain. Either way, getting that out, you guys all did play a really good game. I think that all 3 of you have good stories. I think, like Tad said, just sell the shit out of your game. I didn't really come up with questions, but I'll just give an easy one and just say, like, do any of you have a move that you haven't had a chance to speak about yet that you want to bring to light? And if not, then you just don't have to say anything.
I mean, I think that a lot of people look at it as I just was avoiding the vote. How with the 2 people sitting next to me, a lot of the moves that were made in this game, we did together. No one person can sit here and strictly say, I did this one move, because one person does not go out of this game with 1 vote. Everyone here, these 3, we all shared information. We all helped each other. I knew about information, like I knew Bill, Cam, and Olivia had a chat. I shared things with Molly's. We all worked together. The differences in our game is that when it came to things like the safety chain, I didn't pick you because I had to pick Cam because Cam was going to be the most likely to flip. And because I didn't pick you, it led to Cam voting Dylan and not me voting me. Everything I did in this game was strategic. Yes, I did things to avoid the vote, but each round I did it to gain more allies, to gain trust, because at the beginning of the game, I had lost Steven, and then shortly after I lost Triton, I didn't have a big alliance chat with people. I had a chat with like you and Molly, and then a chat with Triton and Molly, and that was really it. I had to work every single round to get allies, to be trusted, to get information, because I was going to be the easy vote every round. So it's not just me escaping the vote, it's me literally gaining allies, using my social abilities to go in to try to work with people every round. And I think that speaks volumes. And I think you make moves by doing that. You gain allies and you can speak on those things.
I do have a move that I wanted to talk about that I didn't really know if I wanted to talk about just because it's a move that I tried to make that didn't exactly pan out how I wanted. But I'm not sure if the people in the jury know about it, so I figured I would talk about it a little. At the first merge tribal, Mandy, I knew from our alliance chat that you were going to throw a vote on Steven and send him home with 1 vote. And at that point, I was really wanting to work with Steven and I didn't want him to go home. So I told him to vote for himself. I told Triton to vote for Derek so that Derek would go home on 1 vote. What I didn't expect was that someone else would end up voting for Derek. I guess, Molly, that was probably you because you mentioned before that you were going to vote for Derek. Oh, that was you. Okay. Well, I guess we could have communicated a little better in that instance, but at that point, I wasn't really working super closely with you. But I just wanted to shed a little bit of light on a move that I was trying to make behind the scenes. I wasn't planning on telling anyone about those moves other than Triton and Steven, including Bill. I kept that whole thing a secret from him. So I wanted to shed some light on, you know, like using information from different chats, knowing like who exactly was voting for who for the most part, for the majority of people. and attempting to make a big move at that first round.
Yeah, like mentioned before, one vote from one person doesn't send someone home. However, I feel like it was incredibly pivotal the round Cameron went home. I was the deciding factor. I was the person that flipped and sent him home because he was a threat to my personal game. So that was my proudest moment, my biggest move. And it was a turning point in my strategic game, and it's where I really stepped up the strategy even more than I had already been. So that's what I want to talk about.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Those were great answers. Honestly, I'm not actually bitter towards anyone. Y'all are making it a really hard vote between the three of you because I love all three of you, and I think you each played different games, but they were good games nonetheless. So I'm just curious to hear everything else that's said in the game. And yeah, I wish you guys all the luck, good luck, and we'll see you after the game.
All right. Next up, we have Derek.
All right. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? All right. So first of all, I just want to say a huge congrats to all three of you for making Final Tribal Council. As people have touched on, this was an incredible cast this year. And the fact that all three of you are sitting there, I mean, just give yourself a pat on the back because it's a hell of an accomplishment in my mind. But I got a couple things to say to each of you and then one fun thing at the end. So I'll start with AJ. AJ, we were together for a large portion of this game. I definitely enjoyed getting to know you and considered you a close ally until merge. We definitely had a bit of a disconnect at that time. You weren't afraid to voice your displeasure with me after you were the target of the votes 2 tribals in a row. You said you wanted to work with me to get the big threats out. Was that really the case, or did you just want to make me believe you were with me so you could get revenge on me?
It really was the case because I felt like a lot of people, especially after Tyler left and he put that huge target on you, I wanted you to play your own game. And I know that we talked about it and you said you were playing your own game. And I was genuine when I said I did believe you were playing your own game, but I wanted you to step out of Tad's shadow because that's what you were constantly going to be compared to. And I talked to you about getting Tad out and making these moves. And I was genuine in that. I really did care about you in this game and I was close to you. I wanted you to break away and make your own moves, and that was true.
Okay, that's fair. Olivia, unfortunately, we never got to play this game together. By the time we hit merge and finally got to converse, it was clear that we were on opposite sides. That being said, I was impressed with your speed typing, your composure at tribal, and your loyalty to Bill despite him being a big threat. Because as you know, I was very loyal to Tad and he was a huge threat. So I really liked that part of your game. I play a very loyal game and I would have respected your game so much more if you had gone to the end with Bill. So I just wanted to know your thinking on taking Bill out of Final Four.
Yeah, I totally understand like you saying that. And like I mentioned in my opening speech, like it was a very, very hard decision for me. I had been thinking about taking Bill out for a while ever since I heard those touchy subjects answers because it was so clear that he was a huge threat. And you know, like Bill is also a really convincing talker. He's a lawyer, so he was bringing up like a lot of good points for why I should keep him. After like I expressed some of my doubts, like I think you're going to beat me in the end. Ultimately, I know that it was a villainous move, but I just really wanted to do everything I could to give myself the best chance of winning. At my last final tribal council that I was in, I took like my closest ally during the game to the end with me. And I ended up losing to him because he played a better game than me. And I just didn't want something like that to happen again. I wanted to pull off a move that I had sort of known in my gut was the right move that I should have made for a long time. But I also, like, as I mentioned in my speech, I wanted to pull it off at the right time. But yeah, it came down to just like being competitive, wanting to win and wanting to play with my head instead of my heart, even though it was a really hard decision for me. And there were lots of tears after.
Okay. Molly, I truly enjoyed getting to know you and playing the later part of this game with you. The tribal that sent Triton home via rocks was what I thought to be the most crucial moment of the season. However, our majority was short-lived, as you then flipped and voted out Cam. Tad and I followed right behind. In my mind, you are the sole reason that the Dadbot Alliance was derailed. Why should I vote for you tonight?
The Dadbot Alliance. That's pretty awesome. Inspired by Hopper. Anyway, thank you. I also enjoyed getting to know you and playing with you while we did. But I believe you should vote for me because I was a big part of a lot of very important votes, and I played this game solely for myself. I always did what was best for me at any time. I voted Cameron out because it was the right move for my game. I voted Tad out because I have played a game for Tad before, like to get Tad. Basically, it wasn't me playing the game for Tad, but hindsight, it was because he swept the jury and I knew he probably would. And I didn't want to make that mistake again. And so I didn't. I took him out, even though he means more to me than a lot of people do. So, yeah, I played this game wanting to win, wanting to be competitive, and I don't regret anything.
Okay. Lastly, I just want to say that I had a ton of fun in this game. It's the most fun I've had in one of these games for sure. And I will only remember this game fondly. Quickly, just tell me, each of you, the moment in this game when you had the most fun. Just one quick thing when you were having a great time in this game.
Probably the first individual immunity challenge. I loved that. I loved the creative dress up challenge. I committed hard to it and didn't win, but that's okay. But I had so much fun with it, and then I reused the costume a week later at work. So that was so much fun, but definitely as well as getting to know everyone else. But it was really fun to do that challenge.
For me, it was right when the game started when we had the scavenger hunt. Yeah, we had Tina who didn't submit anything but a selfie, if you call it that. But it showed how much like we all wanted to play. We're all so excited. I usually get so embarrassed so easy in doing like the scavenger hunt videos, but I will say that pretty much I did every single video, and I usually don't do that. But I wanted to play, and I wanted to play with you guys, and it just showed everyone on our tribe how much we wanted to be here and kind of set up the season to me.
Mine was actually an unexpected, really long video call that I had with Cam because Cam and I had played a game together in the past, and like he turned on me so fast that I never thought I would see myself working with him. Like I thought like he absolutely hated me, and then to actually like have a really nice call and like get to know each other was really nice.
All right, well, best of luck to you all. This has been so much fun. Daddy Derek out.
All right, so next up we have Tyler's question. Tyler cannot be here, but he did send in a video that he would like you guys to answer.
Hello, jurors. Congratulations on making it to the final three. Obviously, you did what all of us couldn't do. So I'm happy for you for that. I think all three of you played very strong games, and one of you will be a deserving winner of this game. With that said, my question is, Survivor is obviously a game built on social connections. Who is a juror? Which juror do you think deserves the most credit for you making it to the end? And why did you make it and they didn't? Good luck, guys.
All right, whoever wants to go first can answer.
I can take. Oh, do you want to go, AJ?
It doesn't matter.
Okay, I'll take this one first. It's sad that Tyler can't be here for tribal because I would honestly say him. For this question, I think that him voting with Bill and I, when he was sort of in a swing position, even though he and I had a really close relationship pre-merge. He was also in an alliance with Dylan and Mariah, and he could have easily flipped on us and voted one of them, but he decided to keep me instead. Otherwise, I would have gone home so early before the merge even happened, and I would definitely not be sitting here in the end. Why I think that I'm here at the end and he's not. I mean, obviously, like, he went home due to a very unfortunate circumstance and just got very unlucky with the big brother advantage and both Derek and Tad having idols at that point. But I also think I know that he was also a shield for me. I feel like he would have been targeted before I was. He was viewed by some as just like being a threat for his like super outspoken personality and like just the fact that he was a more aggressive player than I was. So I feel like if that circumstance hadn't happened, that would have been the case why he would have been taken out before me and like not made it to the final three.
With me, it would be hands down be Triton. Like Tad said at the beginning of the game, I was close with all of them, but we really didn't have to play. Like we really just had easy votes. And then I got put on the tribe with Molly, Triton, and Steven. And so pretty much Triton wouldn't vote me that round and really just kind of took me into his wing. And I know that people say that they want to see my moves, but when I literally say that I didn't have anyone in the game, it's hard to make huge moves when you don't have a lot of people with you. And saying that, I look at Triton and we did make a lot of moves together. We quickly lost Steven, and then pretty much the only people that we had from that tribe was me, him, and Molly at the time was on opposite sides. Triton literally put out the safety chain to help me get further in the game, and then he even went to rocks for me, which ultimately led to him going home. And some days during the game, when I thought I was going home, I honestly thought, like, dang, it should have just they should have just let me go home, because I did feel bad, because I felt like he took me underneath his wing and gave me an opportunity and helped me connect with a lot of people in this game, because it took a lot for me to find numbers to stay here.
Well, I almost went home in the safety chain, so I think Dylan is definitely the reason I'm still here. If it weren't for Dylan, I would have gone home. He could have easily picked Mandy to save instead of me. And I was crushed the night that Dylan went home. It was the only time in this game I was blindsided. And I think that I knew Dylan had my back, and so that was not a fun time. But yeah, I would credit Dylan the most, I guess, with me being able to make it as far as I did, because that he could have not picked me in the chain. But Dylan's vote out kicked me into high gear, and I really, really stepped it up after that. I've been working hard before, but that definitely kicked my ass into high gear for sure. And then what was the second part of the question? Sorry. Why? I think I might have answered it already. Why he's gone instead of me? Well, people wanted to vote for Dylan instead of me. Like I had said in my opening speech, I did have social connections that helped the target never be on me. So I guess, yeah, could have voted me, but they didn't. So.
All right. Next up, we have Cam.
What is going on, everybody? We are going to kick this into high gear right now. First and foremost, congratulations. I am like very, very jealous of the three of you sitting there, but I truly do believe that the three of you have done something to get to this position. From AJ being an easy boot, making it to the end is a huge deal. Olivia, you had very many strategic, long conversations with people, and you were able to establish one side that would never write your name down and even get people that would potentially flip. And then Molly made a huge move by flipping at the right time, which is exactly why she is here as well. I'm going to go, like all game, I've been taking notes, so I'm just going to go through these notes, and then I got a generic question for the three of you, and then that will be it on my end. Okay, we're gonna go with AJ first. Now, with most of these final tribals, and I guess because of Matt, he would probably also have it where there is a final speech. With a final speech, I would just step up a little bit more. You're doing an amazing job. You were probably the one person I was like, you're never going to get my vote. Now I'm listening because you're doing something that a lot of people that play under the radar, constantly on the bottom, you had to do something which is adapt to any position. You had enough allies that went to rocks for you. You had enough people that did not vote for you when there was only one vote left. You did something right. Just keep talking about your game moves, keep selling your point, because I do believe you deserve to be here just like the other two. And I like short and sweet speeches, and that is something you did well, because I have an attention span of a gnat, like the dog from Up. Horrible attention span. Nothing more than 5 minutes or it's hard. Okay, all right, there we go. Next is Molly. You said earlier voting me was a turning point for your game, and I would disagree. It's actually a turning point for all three of your in games, because one by one, Tad went and then Derek went. You held that position, which makes it far more greater of how that move played out, because you were the deciding factor, not just somebody going with a plan. I amend that because getting me out was a perfect scenario, and I think that is the only reason why you are here. Because of that one move, you solidified getting rid of bigger threats, making yourself here, and I do commend you on that. Okay, now Olivia, the last time you made a final tribal council, I reached out to you and you said you had self-confidence, and you said it here. I am somebody that also has self-confidence issues too. And something that you need to hold your head up high, because my last game I played, I was first boot. You can ask AJ. It's so hard when you play these games, and you have to either play from an emotional standpoint or a standpoint to win. And I do feel like you taking out Bill was a strong move for you, because I do believe if Bill was sitting here, he would have a clean sweep. Maybe you would get one vote. At least this time, even though it hurts that you voted Bill, I think it was a strong strategic move on you, where people are actually going to see you as an individual and not just someone that was with Bill. So congratulations on that. Now, and I also believe if Bill was here, he would overshadow you. And just from the jury chat and stuff, a lot of people were team Bill, and everybody was crushed, sad, mad that Bill went. But I think it was probably the best for the 3-year games, because it actually gives everybody sitting here an equal opportunity. So I had 3 separate questions, but I think this was more something that needed to be done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go, and you don't have to close your eyes and raise your hands. Okay. I'm going to go through the jury list, and I just want you to raise your hand if you voted for him the first time. So for instance, raise your hand if you voted Stephen the first time. Okay, not the revote. Okay. Mandy couldn't because of a safety chain. Tyler couldn't because of an idol. So let's skip to Dylan. Raise your hand if you voted for Dylan.
I'm sorry, I don't understand the question.
If you voted this person out of the game by jury.
Oh, okay.
So if you voted out Dylan, raise your hand. Triton couldn't because of rocks. So then me, all 3 of you. Tad, all 3 of you. Derek, all 3 of you, and Bill, and all 3 of you, right? So
I didn't vote for Derek.
So the difference was Dylan, right? That Dylan vote, which was a big move. Not really a big move, but was a move in general. Something that I think why I asked that is because the 3 of you, from a jury perspective, everybody believes that there's only 2 people that could potentially win this game. And I'm trying to open this up of actually the 3 of you deserve to win this game. And it really just comes down to final jury speeches, because I believe at this point, when AJ, you were kind of just that third individual here that had no chance of winning, I think is now opening people's eyes that you do deserve this, just like Olivia and Molly. And I think what comes down to it is moves. What big move made you get to this position, and how hard did you fight in this game? Because everybody in the jury wants to know how hard you fought in this game, because I believe there's two factors to win this game: making big moves and how hard did you fight in this game. That's exactly where my vote will be. Like I said, congratulations to the three of you. I really enjoyed playing this game with all of you, and good luck. And the three of you are not making this easy on who I'm going to vote for. So congratulations.
All right. Next up, we have Bill.
Hello. Okay, so I think at some point I talked to you all about sort of having your real life brain and your game brain. And my real life brain, congratulations to all of you. You did a great job of getting here, you know, at least from, well, AJ and Olivia and I had worked together from Merge. Olivia and I had worked together from Day Dot. Molly, once you came over from the dark side, we got to work together a bunch. So from a real brain perspective, congratulations to all of you. You played a great game. A quick also shout out for production for putting together what was a really great, really fun game. And that even includes Matt. I'm going to include him in there. And then there's game brain. And game brain is all about what happened within the game. It's not only game thoughts, but it's also game emotions. And Game Bill is really fucking salty right now. So I've watched this, and this game is all about misdirection and omitting information and maybe saying things that aren't true. And then also some real frickin' whoppers. And some of y'all have told some real frickin' whoppers here. So I've been sitting here, and I have my notes too, and been sitting here sort of plotting out my cross-examination. And then my real life brain kicked in. So it's like, screw that. Again, I'm really proud of all of you for making it here. My real life brain, you probably did what you had to do, so no hard feelings there. So I have one question for each of you. I want you to give me one single word, one word. I will be taking notes because I am actually still undecided. A single word that describes your game in a way that will make me vote for you. One single word. I'll allow hyphens, but nothing more. And I'm going to do this in the order in which my game brain hates people, from the person I hate least to the person I hate most. So, Molly, you're up.
All right. I would say well-rounded, hyphen.
And tell me why.
Oh, I thought you only wanted one word total. Okay. I would say well-rounded. I think I played extremely hard strategically. And I think I played excellently socially, as I usually do. And I think both of those are hugely important. But I also I won a challenge, and that was exciting. So I got some physical in there as well. Even though it was a puzzle relay, so it wasn't really that physical. But yeah, I think I played very well-rounded. I made moves for myself when it counted. I wasn't afraid to take risks. I always voted out the biggest threat to my game. And that included you, even when you had an idol and it didn't work. But I took risks. I played for myself. I played hard. I played socially. I built genuine connections with everyone, and that's well-rounded.
Okay, good answer. AJ, the person I hate, in the middle.
Oh, this is hard. Could I do overlooked and hyphenated? Maybe like overshadowed.
It's only one word, so you can go ahead. Give me a lead.
I just wanted to pretty much the reason why I wanted to say that was because I feel like kind of when I was voted in touchy subject as being underestimated, I knew that I would have a fight tonight to get votes and for people to see what I was doing because I didn't come into this game with a bunch of allies or a bunch of people that wanted to work with me. I gained trust. I didn't come in this game. I've never played with you in this game. I never played with Olivia. I played with Molly, but a lot of people on this jury I had never played with. If you look at the other people that are sitting next to me, they have had previous connections with people. So coming into this, I was the least connected, and it's a little bit harder for me to show my game and to really speak on it because I feel like I'm being overlooked because a lot of people didn't see my game because they didn't play with me from the beginning and then they were busy trying to vote me out. So the people that I did work with, you know my game, you know that I had to build loyalty, build trust with everyone, and to really work on relationships with people to still be here. I don't want people to sit here and overlook me anymore because I do believe that I deserve to win because every round I tried. It's easy to say that I did one move or I did this move, but can people sit there and say that their name was out every round and they constantly went around and constantly try to find ways to say? I don't think they can. I can't.
Okay, great. And Olivia.
Okay, I was actually gonna say well-rounded as well, but I don't want to like repeat a word. So I'm gonna say intentional instead. I feel like every move I made had a lot of thought behind it, and I carefully planned out all my decisions, looking at like the pros and cons of both sides before I made those moves. A key example being the final four voting you out. But I also think being intentional in a game means knowing when to lay low and when to step up. And I think laying low for some of the time allowed me to continue to progress without getting votes, where there were times when other members of our alliance would be getting votes. Like I know that Tad, Derek, and Cam were all really wanting to vote Tyler at one point, which didn't end up happening because of the big brother advantage. Then people kept voting for AJ. People were wanting to vote for you towards the end because they realized how much of a threat you were. So I think that move on my part was intentional, continuing to build social connections and like establish sides of people that would never vote for me while also not being seen as a top threat. So I wouldn't be getting a lot of votes.
Okay, great. I want to reiterate what Cam said. I think we've gotten a sense of all your games, but I think in your final jury speech, I really want to know, you really have to sell me on something that you ran, you controlled, where you weren't a follower. And once again, back to real life brain. Congratulations to y'all. And we'll see what happens. Bye.
All right, we will now move on to closing speeches. All right, so AJ, since you went last before, you will be going first.
I would just like to thank everyone for asking questions, hearing me out. But in closing, a move that I made that I had mentioned earlier was even a pre-merge move, but I almost went out pre-merge because of the tribe that I was on, because I was tribe swap screwed. And Molly stated it earlier. Moose wanted to vote me. Me, Steven, and Molly at the time, they thought that I wanted to vote Steven. But really I was working with Steven. So I controlled the vote that way by going to Steven and saying, hey, they're voting you. I don't want to vote you, but I'm also working with them and I don't want to ruin my position. So the plan the whole time we were going to vote Moose. And so during the vote, I was texting Molly and said, hey, like, oh my gosh, like it could be you, it could be me. Like, how do we want to do this? And ultimately it got Molly to flip to vote out Moose and send him out of the game with the safety chain in hand. I think just like what Cameron said and how we raised our hand, we all did a lot of moves together. We each have highlights of different games. And I feel like we all played a well-rounded game. But the one thing that sets me apart is I think that I played a game of survival. Every round was around that I felt like I had to be there. I had to scramble. I know people sometimes said that I needed to be muted, but that's because I'm awkward. And honestly, I was just trying to find a way to connect with you people, to find a way to stay here, because it sucks playing from the bottom. But if you look at my game, I changed so much from the merge to almost going out to being at the end. I literally paid someone $20 to come watch the register for me to do the final challenge at work, to win and to be on the phone with Olivia and decide between who we wanted to vote out. I had a heavy decision-making process. Me and Olivia were both on the phone until we were called to go to Final Tribal Council. So if you look at my game from where it started to where it ended, I'm very proud of it. And I did a lot of moves. Everything I did, if you look at the safety chain, to picking Cameron, to using that, Cameron then voting with me to vote Dylan out, I stayed by 1 vote. All the things that I did in this game were for a reason. Yes, it might have been to use people to use their advantage for me to stay in the game, but it made me build numbers. This game was a numbers game to me. I had to get people on my side to not want to vote me out. And I think that I accomplished that. And I think I accomplished something in this game. And I have nothing but respect for Molly and Olivia. And I wish everyone here the best.
All right, next up we have Molly.
All right. Thank you, jury, for those questions. They were pretty intense and pretty good. But I feel like I played the best game overall for a lot of reasons. I think I excelled strategically and socially. I don't think I've ever played this hard strategically. I made pivotal moves for myself when I needed to make them for myself. I did what I thought was best for my game at every corner. I was never a target. No one wrote my name down until Final Four, and I think that that's pretty fucking impressive. But I worked hard to make sure that wouldn't happen. I worked hard on social connections to make sure that people wouldn't want to vote me out. And I knew what both sides were doing at all times. I was playing the middle very hard. Like I said, there was only one point in the game I was surprised, and that was Dylan. But every other time I knew where the votes were going. I knew that no one was voting me, and I always felt confident in my position in the game. And I owe a lot of that to my social game. I am very proud of the game that I played. Like I said, it was well-rounded. I played hard, I played aggressive, I played for myself. I wasn't scared to take risks. And I think I should win. But I love Olivia and AJ so much. I'm so proud of you guys too. Thanks.
All right, wrap things up. We have Olivia.
First of all, I wanted to thank the jury members for their really insightful questions, some of which I've never heard at a final tribal before. And I think out of the final tribals I've been to, this is by far my favorite one. Now into my closing speech. As we all know, Survivor's catchphrase motto is outwit, outplay, and outlast. And good gameplay involves a combination of physical, social, and strategic abilities. I've mentioned this at literally every final tribal I've been to, but I think it needs to be mentioned again because I truly believe that it's important. It should be mentioned every time because all these things should be considered when you're choosing a winner. I believe that my gameplay had a good balance of these 3 aspects. I was on the right side of every vote this season. I knew exactly what was going to happen at every tribal, minus the Derek and Tad double idol play after the Big Brother advantage. And Bill and I worked together to control these votes and situations. Regarding Bill's point that he made during his question about like controlling versus being a follower, I'm not sure if he was like referencing me at all, but I just wanted to say like a little thought on that. I feel like when you're working in a partnership with someone and so closely connected on a game and a personal level, I feel like there doesn't always need to be a leader and a follower if you're sharing, if you're both like very open about your thoughts and your feelings. There were some moves that he wanted to make that I was against and vice versa. And there was one move that he did sort of convince me to make, which was the Cam vote. But I feel like ultimately, rather than him leading and me following, a lot of it was based on a partnership and on like dynamic conversations that we were having for every vote. throughout the merge, Bill and I were in 8 or 9 different alliance chats together, different combinations of 7 out of the 10 other people who made merge. Onto physical gameplay, outplaying. I won 3 challenges. I placed second or third in several others. In terms of tribe immunity challenges, I led my tribe to victory on several occasions. And when I couldn't do that, I was usually the top performer on the tribe. In my opinion, outlasting is the most important part of Survivor. You can outwit and outplay almost everybody, but if you're unable to make it to the end, you still can't win. When my name was thrown out twice pre-merge and once post-merge, most of which were by Dylan, actually, I had the social connections I needed to ensure that I was safe. I overcame obstacles, losing 2 of my closest allies to unfortunate circumstances, rocks, and then a double idol play during the Big Brother round, and I still managed to make it here to the final 3. From a lot of your perspectives, my close ally outplayed me, but in the end, I still outlasted him, and I think that's more important. Thank you all for your time, and best of luck to the other 2 finalists. I love you both, and I really enjoyed playing with you. Thank you.
All right. This time we will be ending the live. We will be giving the jurors a chance to deliberate, think about everything you guys have said, and then cast their votes. And we will be coming back on live to read them later on tonight. Bye, everyone.